corner of that. I'm Tim Wilbanks. I'm the Southern District Chair for the Wisconsin Honey Producers. Glad to see everybody here. We're going to be a little bit tight this morning, so as more people come in, open up your lap or have them squeeze in. We'll have to do the other side of the table. We'll get nice and cozy, okay? Can everybody hear me fine in the back? What? Yep. Don't start. Okay, so you're not getting one of these. I was just about to make the announcement that we have some gift certificates to hand out. And since nobody paid to get in, and the gift certificates are worth $10, I'm just thinking anybody wants to throw $8 or $9 at me, I'll just hand you one, right? We'll talk about that in a minute. But before we get started, we're going to turn and say the pledge to the flag to start it the right way. Everybody stand. Back in the room. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you. So this is our spring meeting. So we've got a couple of really good speakers for you today. And we're going to start off in the first 30 minutes or so recognizing some organizations, telling you a little bit about those. And first and foremost, if you are a vendor or if you have something to sell, we're going to give you a chance to stand up, introduce yourself, make your face known. We have a table in the back when you walk in, so if you have any literature or information, you can put it on that table. Honey Beware up in Greenville donated the gift certificates, and they have some catalogs. And so going back to those gift certificates, kind of what I'm thinking we'll do is whoever asks really good questions to the speakers today, we'll just let the speaker decide, hey, that was a great question, and hand you a gift certificate. So that way you're encouraged to ask good questions. If you ask a dumb question, then they have the right to revoke your privilege of earning. But we're going to do that in a few minutes. We did have the Wisconsin Honey Queen, Sydney Paulsrud, was going to be here and talk to you. She emailed me late last night and said because of the weather she wasn't going to be able to make it and get a long drive. So sorry to say I'm as pretty as it gets for now until Anna gets up here later on. It's going to get much better, okay? So we get to miss out on having Sydney, but Sydney Paulsrud is our new 2019 Wisconsin Honey Queen. If you did not know, our 2018 Queen, Hannah Sjostrom, was elected as the American Honey Queen. So we have quite a long line of being represented, the Wisconsin side represented at the national level with Honey Queen. So we kept that going this year. So keep them in your thoughts. They do a lot of traveling, a lot of promoting. Okay. With that being said, this is a Wisconsin Honey Producers meeting. How many of you, and you're not in trouble, but how many of you are members? Maybe you haven't gotten up to date on your dues, but you are members of the Wisconsin Honey Producers. Please raise your hand. All right, good. How many are not? Raise your hand. Okay, it's fine for you to be here. See me afterwards. I just need $20 from you. And no, I'm kidding. We are going to pass around some pamphlets, some membership pamphlets. It tells you a little bit about our organization. And I'll start these, and I'm going to have our president, Kent McGorsh, come up right now and just introduce himself and tell you a little bit about the organization.
Thanks, Tim. I'm Kent McGorsh, local Patrick area, north of here where we have a lot of stores going, a lot of stores winter. I'm really enthusiastic about this. I'm enthusiastic about all organizations. They all serve a purpose, whether it's the county organizations, which are the first place they should all join, the state organization to the American Bee Confederation. Every organization has a community of beekeepers that's just great to be a part of. As far as Wisconsin honey producers go, I really encourage you to grab a brochure or grab a sign-up sheet and sign up. It's $10 for first-time members, $29 a year for renewing members. But the benefits you get are great. Just being a part of the community is worth it. But we have Badger Bee, which is one of the best publications in all the United States for state organizations. Tracy Malter, our editor, puts together a great Badger Bee every month. We get an email to you or mail to you. We have the spring meetings, we have the summer meetings, which this year is in Red Grand. Next year we're going to have it in Wisconsin Rapids. It's turning into kind of a 2-day meeting now. We're going to have a Friday night social meetings and then a Saturday meeting. The state fair, if you've ever been to the state fair and seen the honey booth there, as a member of the Wisconsin Honey Producers, one of the things that I really enjoy being going down the state fair and working down there. If you like talking about bees or being around bee talk, it's a lot of fun. You go out there for a day and you talk to the public. The public is so interested in bees and honey. And as beekeepers, you get a chance to kind of educate the public. You'll go home hoarse after the day of talking all day long to people, especially if you sit on the observation beehive. We have one beekeeper from Oak County who works on every year, and that's his job, is sitting on the observation beehive. And every year, he goes home with us and he cannot talk. It's completely boring. So it's a lot of fun to go to State Fair. And of course, the highlight of the year is our annual convention. This next year it will be in Fond du Lac, which is very convenient for the Southern District. We're getting some great speakers in for this. Jamie Ellis, the scheduler, comes from the University of Florida. And John Miller, who's a large beekeeper from out west, is planning on coming and speaking. And if you don't know John Miller, he's quite a guy. One of the best books I've ever read and reread is called Beekeeper's Lament. It's about bees and honey and in all aspects, from small to large. I really recommend reading it. As a beekeeper, you'll enjoy it. But again, getting back to this community, as a part of the Wisconsin Honey Producers, please think about joining. At least try it out for a year and get involved. The more you get involved, the more you're going to get out of it. The more beekeepers you're going to meet from around the state, the more you're going to learn about bees and honey. It's a lot of fun. I can't say enough about it.
Thank you, Kent. With that being said, we also have the president of the Illinois State Beekeepers here with us today. Corky, where's Corky? Come up, Corky. Corky's going to share with you a little bit about what's going on just over the border, just south of us. And he's going to make an announcement about their summer meeting. So, Corky Schnott, Illinois State Beekeepers.
Hi, everybody. Nice to see you. This year, the summer meeting, it goes across the state in different locations. This year, it's in extreme northern Illinois, so it's not very far away at all. In Crystal Lake, it's about an hour from here. It's going to be a 2-day event, members only on Friday. It's going to be a series of workshops. We're going to have Keith Delaplane, Jerry Hayes, Jim and Karen Belly, and one of our chief apiary inspectors do 3-hour workshops, and we're going to limit it to just 20 people per workshop. It's really going to be a neat little thing, and it's a whopping $10 for that. That's members only, so you still have time to join if you like. The Saturday meeting is our traditional public meeting. We're going to have Dr. Delaplane again, Jerry Hayes, and several other people speaking. It'll be an all-day affair. You get lunch for $10. It's going to be at the McHenry County College. Just like I said, just down the road from there. And it's going to be June 7th and 8th, the Friday and Saturday. Anybody have any questions? Think of? Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks, Corky. Okay, we also have several, you're kind of fortunate this year, Illinois and Wisconsin, we have a lot of board members that live in this area that are part of the American Beekeeping Federation. Myself, Kent, Jim Belly. So I'm going to have Jim stand up and tell you a little bit about the American Beekeeping Federation and a very close to home event that's coming up next January. Jim Belly.
I was going to tell you guys that really the American Beekeeping Federation board, it's really mostly all Wisconsin honey producers. I'm a member. Tim, Ken, Anna, Tim May rather. We're all members of this organization. So if you ever wonder how well Wisconsin is represented nationally, that is the one. But next year, January, this will never happen again. I assure you, it's going to be in Schaumburg. Normally, we try, the American Beekeeping Federation moves its annual conference and trade show across the country, East, Midwest, West Coast. Next year, it's going to be in the Midwest, and it will be held in Schaumburg in January. I really strongly, like everybody else, strongly recommend you join the ABF. That is their national voice. This year, ABF was able to eliminate the need for added honey labeling on a single product like we have with the ABF and the maple syrup industry that really spearheaded that.
They added sugar.
Added
Sugar
sugar.
added to your product, and they killed that.
Yeah, as Bill said, the other bitty big, and you sometimes you don't think this affection, but it was had to do with regulations on trucking. They were able to go a lot on that one. And that really will help reduce the cost of packages coming from California or Georgia up to this area. Again, like I said, I strongly recommend you join ABF. Convention will be in January next year in Schaumburg. That's a 4-day convention. It's really a great time. So,
Thanks, Jim.
you bet.
So just to elaborate on that a little bit, it is very rare, and it probably won't happen again, that we get that convention this close. Okay, normally you have to travel somewhere sunny and warm, which is, a big inconvenience during January, right? Yeah, we usually like that, but hey, it's not going to be sunny and warm. Maybe it will be, but it's going to be close, and it's indoors. So one of the things that I highly encourage about the ABF meeting is that it is a great chance for you to network. Okay, to give you a quick example. 3 years ago, I believe it was, or 4 years ago, we had it in Jacksonville. I met a beekeeper that was sitting, it was after dinner in the bar area, he was sitting there, he had on a Georgia Bulldogs hat. I'm originally from Georgia, so I introduced myself. He was there, he had 2 beehives. He was just sitting there, just trying to meet people, okay? Now, 4 years later, he has a business. He runs about 250, 300 colonies, okay? He just showed up, he wanted to meet people, he met people. Nobody, from the biggest commercial guys in this country to other hobbyists, they're going to talk with you. Nobody has secrets. They love bragging or telling you their sad story. And so you get to learn. And they'll give you your phone number. And it is amazing the connections you will make with some of the big names in the industry. And then you'll find people just in your own neighborhood you didn't even know kept bees. So great opportunity to network. And to elaborate further on the 2 things that the ABF helped do for us as beekeepers the past few years was that added sugar labeling. Many of you probably don't realize this, but there was a push that we were going to have to put an added sugars line on our honey labels, okay? Now, it would have been 0, but it would have been a confusing thing for the consumer. Because then they're looking and saying, well, why would honey have added sugars in it? Well, it doesn't, right? It's pure honey. But they were making us do that, and so from a marketing and confusion standpoint, we just thought this is a bad idea. So the maple syrup industry, honey industry, ABF was real big in this, got that dropped, and that was a benefit to all of us as beekeepers and honey producers. Secondly, some of the DOT hour log rules, okay? Now, obviously those are for the safety of all, but in the ag industry, farmers most of the time are exempt during harvest season with having to follow and keep these log books and all, because it's harvest season. You're doing things where you have to get the grain to the market and that kind of thing. Same thing with bees. When bees are being trucked across the country, whether you're sending your hives for pollination to California or whether you're getting package bees or nukes shipped in, those laws affect the pricing of trucking, because now instead of 1 driver, it takes 2 drivers to keep that rig. So we made some big headway there as well. So you can thank the ABF for having a big part in both of those changes for the positive for beekeepers. So highly encourage you to join. Now, we want to take a few minutes and recognize our local club. So the way we're going to do this is if you have a club that is within, well, let me back up before I even do that. How many of you here are considered hobbyists? You have just a handful of hives, you're a backyard beekeeper, you would consider yourself a hobbyist, you do hives, you do it in your spare time. Raise your hand. All right, so that's the majority of it. How many of you would consider yourselves to be maybe a sideliner? Hey, yeah, I'm kind of a hobbyist, but I also have a business. I make honey or beeswax or a product from the bees, and I sell it, and I derive some income from that. So you would consider yourself a sideliner beekeeper. Raise your hand. Okay, good. Now, taking it a step above, how many of you are even a little bigger than that? Maybe you got enough hives that you pull together with other beekeepers and you send them for pollination, or you sell bees off your operation, or you're selling honey in the barrel, like small commercial or commercial beekeeper. Raise your hand. Okay, so we got a couple here for that. Okay, so keep that in mind, okay? With that, whether you're sideliners, small commercial, and whether you know some other commercial guys, the Bee Informed Partnership is an organization that's doing a lot to help beekeepers, especially in the fight against Varroa mites. Beekeepers like, what are the next best treatment tactics? What are the best testing methods? How do I know what I've got? And it's not just Varroa, other things as well. Viruses, nosema, those kind of things. So the Bee Informed Partnership has tech transfer teams where they have technicians out in the field that are helpful to you as beekeepers, okay? They can come in and they can help assist you in determining what's going on, the health or not so healthy status of your bees. What can we do about it? What do we need to do next? So Dan wins. Dan, if you'd stand up. Dan is here today. Dan's over in Michigan now, but I think we'll be transferring over to Wisconsin or helping monitor Wisconsin. So Dan, come up and tell us a little bit about yourself and about the Bee Informed Partnership Tech Transfer Team.
Dan Wines, based out of Michigan State University. Currently, I was in Oregon, working with beekeepers in the Northwest. Background is as a commercial beekeeper, kind of now Bee Informed Tech Transfer Team. Kind of one foot in science and one foot in industry, kind of the conduit in between. So as Chris said, we work with commercial beekeepers largely, trying to help them get some data, kind of evaluate and improve management practices, monitor colony health. So we're expanding the program into Wisconsin this year. My coworker Garrett, Minnesota lab was this week last year here, so we're going to be kind of covering the area. But also knowing that a lot of which hands went up for which questions. Bee Informed, we're kind of a national outfit. There's different levels that you can be involved in. One, anybody through the website, which is just beeinformed.org. There's a ton of information there. We run the National Management Loss Survey for the last 9-10 years now. There's a data explorer. There's just a ton of information that comes in all around the country. The national loss statistics. Typically, when you see an article in the press about honeybees and where they're at and losses, that information comes from the annual survey of national loss rates. But you can really get in and dive into that data locally and find out what's going on around you. Also, another way you can participate is the Set and Lapery program. I'll leave some information on the table about that, but that's kind of a way for beekeepers to, you take your own samples, but it goes to the lab, and you can get kind of metrics on colony health, Varroa, nosema, but also putting it into context. A lot of times you see your own bees, but if you're fairly new to it, or you don't see other bees, you don't have a lot of sense of what those numbers mean. So we try to provide that information, and again, it's all coming from a place of helping beekeepers make more informed management decisions, and that being for their bees. So I'm here. Appreciate the chance to let you know who I am and come and talk to me. I'd like to tell you more.
Thanks, Dan. So that's beeinformed.org. That's the website if you want to write that down. And then back it up, the American Beekeeping Federation is kind of a confusing one. It's abfnet.org. So abfnet.org. Okay? Wisconsin Honey Producers, it's WI Honey, so abbreviation for Wisconsin, wihoney.org. Just so you can write those down if you don't get a pamphlet. Okay, now it's time to recognize a local club. So knowing what we've got in terms of beekeeper demographics, what I want to do is go around the room, and if you are here and you're a part of a local club, maybe you're a board member or an officer, I want you to stand up, say what club you represent, say where you meet, when you meet, so that there are people here that are looking to join other clubs or be a part of other clubs close to them. They know what opportunities exist. So we'll just start and just jump up and go, and we'll bounce around the room. So, all right, Tim, we'll start with Tim right here in the front.
Yeah, Tim Hamilton, Racine Kenosha, which meets on the corner of 45 and 50. We meet the first Wednesday of every month at 7 o'clock, and we have a early lesson for beginning beekeepers, and then we have our regular meetings.
Okay. Anybody else on this side?
Hi everyone, I'm Stephanie and I'm part of the Wallace County Beekeepers Club. We meet on the third Tuesday of each month at 7 o'clock, and we've recently changed our location due to some scheduling conflicts, so we are now meeting at the Gateway Technical College campus in Elkhorn on County Road H.
Okay, thank you. Scott?
Scott Wagner, Rock County Beekeepers Association. We meet at Fulton Township, which is just up the road here just a little bit. Second Sunday of every month except for January and August. It's cold in January and you should be harvesting in August.
Anybody else on that side? Yep.
Dodge Jefferson Bee Association, meet at St. Michael's Church in Houstonsburg, right on Highway R. Meetings at 1 o'clock, we have a potluck start and a 2 o'clock regular meeting.
Okay, so that was the Dodge Jefferson Beekeepers. Anybody else on this side? Yep.
I'm Rick Marty with Mad City Bees on Madison. We meet every first Tuesday of every month at various locations, libraries mostly, and pretty uniform, just sit around and chat. We do great with speakers, no dues, just hanging out, having a good time.
Okay, thanks, Greg. Anybody here in the middle? Okay, anybody on this side? Brett?
Brett Perry, Milwaukee Waukesha Beekeepers Association. We meet first Monday of the month, usually. It's on our website, MW Beekeepers. Yeah, we're just maybe a 125 person club, but been around for a few years and kind of serve those two counties. But standard meetings, talk about bees. Christmas party, we drink mead. So.
What's the location?
We're in the Brookfield Public Library.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Lynette Tom, Ozaukee, Washington Beekeepers. We meet on Highway 60 at both second Monday of the month. Don Bill was in charge, but knee surgery he just had, so wish him well. And it's just we do have a Christmas party also. Just a bunch of people, and if you need help, we'll have somebody else to help you.
Anybody else on this side? Marcia? Yeah, talk about you. Yeah, even if you're just over into the Illinois side. Yeah.
John Leibinger with the Northern Illinois Beekeepers. We meet the second Friday of every month in the Farm Bureau building in Woodstock, Illinois. It's a nice, intimate kind of venue. Probably holds 75 people, and we have maybe 120 there. So it's good time. We bring speakers in periodically and have a lot of inter-discussions within the group. Yeah, come early if you want to see.
Otherwise, you'll be holding up the wall, right?
Yeah.
Yep, Kim?
I just want to invite the county organizations to get a listing on the Wisconsin Honey Producers website. So if you don't have it not already on there, send me an email or message through the website, and we'll be glad to put your Facebook page, your web page on there, because I'm getting constantly people looking for county organizations to join, even in Illinois, for our southern people, even put Illinois people on there.
Yeah, so if anybody else, Marcy?
Yeah, you are.
You guys, tell them, are there any spots available? Sold out. So, Marcy wasn't going to tell you this, but Randy Oliver's coming to Chicago, to Garfield Park, March 31st. I figured that was sold out. Quite a nationally sought after speaker. He'll be there, so maybe in the future, keep an eye on some of the things that Garfield Park does. But go ahead and tell us a little bit about when you guys meet.
All right, so Marcel Matelsky, I'm from Chicago. Garfield Park Conservatory is where I work. We meet on first Wednesdays of the month, 6 to 8 p.m. And every year, like Tim said, we host an annual bee forum. So last year we had Dr. Samuel Ramsey. This year we have Randy Oliver. This past we had Megan Milgreff, May Berenbaum, Dr. Dennis Van Engelsdorf from Bee Informed Partnership. So if you're interested, best way is to Google Garfield Park Conservatory, get on our newsletter, it's free, and once we have speakers announced, we send out a newsletter, and then the sign-ups go out, and we can only hold about 100 people in the room, so Randy Oliver, I mean, it's expected to be sold out. If you're interested, we have a waiting list, but there's 50 people on the waiting list already. I'm not saying you're going to get in, but doesn't hurt to try.
They bring in some really big speakers every year, once a year, and so it fills up fast, but keep them in mind. Anybody else? Any other clubs, big or small? Yes, sir.
Yeah, Dan said, we're not a local club, we're from La Crosse, Wisconsin, and we meet on the third Tuesday of every month.
Okay. Anybody else? Yes, sir.
I'm Bob Wood and Sauk, Columbia County, Baraboo Portage area. We meet on the third Tuesday of each month at the North Shore Restaurant out by Devil's Lake.
Okay, great. Is that everybody? All right, so if you saw somebody stand up who mentioned that they are close to you and you want more information, just get them during a break or at lunch. Make them buy you pizza, and maybe you can join their club at a discount, okay? So speaking of lunch, okay, so here's what we're going to do. It's not time yet. We have speakers. But at roughly noon, maybe noon 30, we're going to have pizza brought in, and it's going to be pizza by the slice, $1 a slice. We have water and pop, $1 for a drink. So we'll keep it real simple. We should have plenty. I'm going to get a head count here in just a minute. Make sure if we need to order a few more, we will. So that'll come in. There will be cheese, pepperoni, and sausage pizza. Sorry if you're a veggie person. You just have to pick it off, I guess. But you know, it's a beekeepers meeting, so we're just kind of keeping it. You know, we don't have meat and potatoes. We got pizza instead. So just keep it simple. But hopefully that'll be good, and then we'll have about 45 minutes for that. We'll have the afternoon stuff. We'll keep it short and get you out of here. But network, okay? During lunch, during the breaks, I want you to take an opportunity to meet people around you, find out who they are. And one of the big reasons that I am a big believer in networking locally is when it comes to treating for varroa, okay? You'll hear in Anna's talk, it helps so much to know who has bees around you, what they're doing, what they're not doing, when they're doing it. Because growing up in a commercial operation and working with a lot of commercial operations now, it's all about communicating. Don't keep secrets. Don't hide things. Talk to one another. Community treatments, meaning time-wise and location-wise, are very, very helpful in our battle against varroa. So keep that in mind. Get to know people around you. Find out, you know, share information where your bees are. Because in some instances, your bees may be working the same forage plants, okay? So keep that in mind. That's what this is all about. Now, a couple more housekeeping things before we get started. We're a little ahead of schedule since Sydney wasn't here with us today. But restrooms are in the hallway just as you came in the building, okay? Be careful as you get down the hall. The floors are tile, the floors are wet. It was a very limited mat there, so it's going to be wet. So be careful. We don't want any slips and falls, but that's where the restrooms are. There's coffee in the back, and then, like I said, we'll have lunch around noontime. If you need anything, let us know. Anybody else got any other announcements before we get started with our first speaker? Anything that's for the good of beekeeping in the group here? All right. What's that? Yeah. Hey, thank you. Yeah, that's a good courteous thing to do. You got your cell phone on. This is going to be recorded, and so sound's going to be a little challenging. If you don't mind, silence your cell phones. If you do get a call and have to take it, you're notified. Please step out, come out the front or the back. Good point. All right, so I'm going to introduce our first speaker, Anna Heck. She's formerly of the University of Minnesota Bee Squad up at the University of Minnesota Bee Lab, and did a lot of work there. She has recently joined Michigan State University, their Department of Entomology. She's in the Michigan Pollinator Initiative Program working with Megan Milbrin. And so Anna has agreed to come share with us about getting a plan against varroa in your apiary. So with that, come on up, Anna, and we'll give our full attention to you.